Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the interview. I have a very special friend today. Y'all may know her as Key. I know her as Kierra Renee. A longtime friend, college friend, got to see her grow, got to see her really manifest a life that most people probably wish they can have as an entrepreneur, as an author, a businesswoman, event strategist. Honestly, I couldn't even put a title on you. You do so many things,
I do.
but I don't like introducing people. I like for them to introduce themselves. So if you don't mind telling people who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Do I look into this camera right here?
You can look wherever you want to. That's fine.
All right, what's up, poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? No. Hey, everyone. My name is Kierra Renee. And as he said, yes, formerly Kira. And I am, honestly, I'm a producer. I like to just all around, I produce. Like, I get shit done. That's the name of my business. I make shit LLC. The goal is, like, if you hire me, if you bring me on the project, I'm going to get the shit done. I produce. So I don't like to necessarily be like, oh, like I'm a producer in this field, this field. I just produce. And that's pretty much it.
And where you from?
Oh, yeah. I am from Merced, California. Shout out Central California.
Right. People may not, because people won't watch. They're like, where is Merced?
I know.
Merced. It's by Fresno, right?
It's by Fresno.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Merced is like in between Fresno and Modesto. It's that little town that you pass through. It's like 6 exits off the freeway. You probably didn't even realize you were passing through it. But yes, I'm from like this little cove in the middle of California.
So most people may not know what it's like to go to Merced, right? Most people who I feel like watch this or pay attention to this are from bigger cities, right?
Yeah.
Los Angeles, New York, wherever, Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Then you got this little town of Merced, right? But now it's bigger because they've gotten
it's
a university.
Don't get it
there,
twisted.
Right?
It's still
right. Yeah, right. Let us know what was it like growing up in Merced?
Honestly, like I think when you grow up in like a small city, you don't realize that you're even in a small city. So I had a lot of fun growing up in Merced. Of course, like there wasn't a lot to do, so we made things to do, like riding our bikes through the bike trails. We did that a lot. We used to go to the skate parks all the time and like ride the skates. We would go crawdad fishing in the creeks. We would.
You said what fishing?
Crawdad fishing.
What is that? What are you saying?
Like crawdad fishing. So, like the little crawdads, like
I've never heard of this term.
Okay, so I think they call it crawfish, but
crawfish.
we call them
Okay.
crawdads. So like we would go crawdad fishing in like the little dirty creeks and stuff. We would walk around town. I was like so used to just walking from one side because our town's not really big, so you could walk from like one side to from north. Like I grew up on the north side, so I grew up on essentially, I guess, in the hood or whatever. I only realized I lived in the hood when I got out of high school because one of my friends, his dad was the like only black cop in the city. So obviously that lets you know what type of city I live in. And
I was gonna go ask that. Like, what was the demographic?
It was very white, populated. It was black people there too, but they kept us in our pockets.
Mm-hmm.
It was nothing for African Americans to do in our city. If they ever had like an activity or something, they would shut it down immediately.
Wow.
The only thing that I think we were able to do that stayed was church. So there was this center called The Rock. I went to church. I was a church kid. I only hung out with church people. I danced for the church. I competed with the church for the city. All of my friends, we all went to church together. And there was this one venue called The Rock, and it was a church, and they would let us come, and we could play basketball, and then you had to pray, and you had to like do all these things, but it was the only thing for black kids to do.
Mm-hmm.
So all the black kids knew Friday night we're going to The Rock. Yes, they were probably fighting up in there too, but it was like our only activity, like,
Right.
that we could do because like they didn't really have anything for black youth to do in my town. And if someone tried to create it, they would shut it down like within like 30 days.
I can imagine that, right? It's uncomfortable for them, right? To see too many black people together.
Yeah, they're like,
they're colluding now. They gonna carry something.
Yeah, y'all being progressive? Nah. Yeah. So I mean, I didn't really go back to Merced is different. Definitely like KKK. I seen all that stuff. We had rocks thrown at us. when we were like I remember we were like sixth grade. I used to play basketball, and we were going to, I think we were leaving Turlock, which is like another little city. Which actually, I think that's where Colin Kaepernick is from. I think he's from Turlock or something. So we were leaving Turlock, and this car stopped us and started throwing rocks, like, get those niggers out of our city. And I remember our coach got off the bus and was like, yo, nah, like, these are kids. What are you doing? Like, and so definitely you felt, the energy of racism there. I know for sure my high school campus was used as Klan rallies. I had a homie in high school. His parents were in the Klan. We all knew about it. Like, it was normal, like, but he was cool. He didn't have an issue. And I remember I used to stick up for him, like, y'all, like, leave this man alone. Like, his parents are in the Klan. Yeah, that don't mean he don't like
you gotta take one for the team, homie. I don't know, man.
He was cool. Like, he didn't dislike black people. Like, he didn't have an issue with black people. Like, you can't fault someone for their parents if they're not choosing to walk down that road. Like, you have to let everyone be individual, and you can't blame someone for where they came from.
That's a very interesting experience, right? Because most people I talk to are, they're from, like I said, these major cities, and they grow up with kind of the similar issues that black people deal with. But when I talk to people that's outside of major cities, it's always this racism thing that they have to grow up with, right?
Because once you leave major cities, it gets real.
Right. It's not as liberal everywhere, right? Everywhere
like,
in LA.
Like, literally, like, I know, like, there's like a lot of things. I know people who got hung, like, growing up. Like, there was a lot of like little Merced is sketchy. Like, it's not really, I always say, and I'm sorry, Merced, but Merced's not really a place for black people. Like, I don't think you should really be there. They lock you up instantly. Like, that's why I always tell black boys, get out of Merced. Like, it's a trap. There's nothing there but drugs. There's nothing there but going to jail. There's nothing progressive for you to do if you're African American. Yes, I know they're building the city up, so congrats to that. And, if they want me to, I would love to come and help be a part of that progress. But it's at the same time, I still know that weird energy lingers over that town. So it's like, it's just a little weird there.
No, I can imagine. And did you grow up in a household with siblings, or are you only child? What was that like?
Yeah, so I grew up in a blended household. So there was a lot of us. There were at the most maybe 11 at one time.
Come on now. Okay. Now that's interesting. Now, in that, where'd you fall in as far as age range? Like the middle?
I'm the middle child. I am the middle child.
Smack dab.
Yeah, I'm the middle child. So, what that means, black sheep.
So let me ask you about that experience, right? You've been the middle child, because I'm not, but I've heard about there's like a middle child syndrome, or there's like a thing.
I am middle child syndrome. Like,
so what is that? What does that mean?
Unfortunately for me, I have rifts, like, and I don't want to like hurt people or like out them, but no, like, I have rifts. Like, I don't really talk to a lot of the people, like, not like that. Like, I just don't have strong relationships. Like, I sometimes blame it on maybe I live out here. They all live together. So it's like out of sight, out of mind, maybe potentially, who knows? But I am the black sheep. Like, I don't really talk that much. Me and my sister actually just got a relationship like 2 months ago, through me bringing her into one of my therapy sessions. Like, that was able to like help her understand like my point of view. Like, remember, I'm the little sister and I live way out here. You guys all live together, and it would be cool to just get a phone call every now and then.
So they still live in Merced?
No. Everyone lives in the Bay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they all live in like Sac area.
Okay.
But yeah, listen, the black sheep thing is real. I write about it in my book too, like how to deal with like exclusion in families and stuff when you are like the one who maybe thinks a little bit differently.
So like what made you the black sheep though? Was it like, what about
my mouth?
Okay.
Like, I'm like, I have always been the one who spoke her mind, growing up. And even my sister told me, like, like sometimes like the things that you say, I'm just very honest, and I've never been able to sugarcoat things when I'm talking to people. That's not really been my strong suit. So I speak my mind and I speak my truth. And I think sometimes, everyone can't handle that type of thing. Like, even my auntie's like, you're so hilarious. Like, you're always telling people the truth, Niecy. And I'm like, I know. It's like the only way that I really know how to operate. So I think in a family where everyone don't want to probably be told the truth, and you got that one daughter or whatever who's like, nah, like, we don't have to like talk about what's really going on, because come on, bro. Nah, we can't just like overshadow and look at things like it didn't just happen. Like, that just happened.
So you think any of that weighed on your relationship with your siblings? Like, because you felt like you
Yeah.
were
I
the
mean, my
black
sister
sheep?
let me know. Like, she was like, I thought you were rude.
I mean, okay, so outside of one sister, because we got 11 people we
I
talking about
mean,
here.
there's
So
11, right? Okay, so like my little brother is a little strange because he just goes his different ways. He's been in and out of jail, you know. My older brother, I love my older brother, but he also we don't talk as much, but it's still like my favorite older brother. But he's also been in and out of jail, so it's kind of, you know, you can't really keep that conversation running. My other big brother, it's like we don't talk, but if I call him, it's like we just talked yesterday, you know. So it's still cool. Me and my mom, we're working on it. We're trying to figure it out. You know, it'll do what it do in time. Um, my I don't really I don't include him because I don't I don't include him. But my step brothers and sisters, you know, we grew up in the same household or whatever, but we're not really close, you know, anymore. My little sister, who's my stepsister, I still call her every time I go to SAC. I'll go grab her, go pick her up, and just bring her with me. She came out here for my book release. You know, that's my baby sister at the end of the day. I don't care if we don't have the same mom, same dad. We grew up in the same household. Me and her shared a bed growing up. So at the end of the day, you my boo.
right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's like everyone's just kind of, I don't know. But, you know, I also didn't grow up in a family where we were taught to stay connected. That wasn't really like a thing in our household. No one said I love you growing up. Nobody like made sure that, you know, you checked on people. It just wasn't a part of our like our foundation. So it just makes sense as you get older that if that wasn't a part of your foundation, that it just doesn't be a part of your foundation.
You know, I've had somebody speak here and they were saying like, you know, their childhood experience because they moved around a lot or they were never connected to many people. They it's hard for them to connect now to people, right? Or keep relationships.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that experience for you and your siblings? How do you think that affects you now?
Oh yeah,
You know,
listen,
as an adult.
I am queen isolation. Like I definitely hang out by myself a lot, but I don't mind. I grew up hanging out by myself. Like my mom kept me isolated. We definitely grew up in the neighborhood. Like I liked my neighborhood. I thought I had fun with all my homegirls, but my mom, you know, definitely thought we were, you know, my friends were a little rowdy, and she definitely kept me inside. I remember she wouldn't let me go to Boys and Girls Club. She let all my brothers and sisters go. She would never let me go. So I was always in the crib anyway. So I'm used to being isolated. And I will say that only thing I will say about my childhood is that sometimes I have a hard time connecting with women because I don't have real connections with like my mom, my sisters, and I never was able to like establish that. So I do take extra care when it comes to if I want to have a relationship with women. It's easier for me to have relationships with men because I hung out with like my older brothers and I hung out with like I had all male friends growing up, you know.
Well, it's not the first time I've heard that. I mean, I've you know, I'm a male and I think it's easier to have male friends, you know, because of, you know, from my experience, you forget your homegirl birthday, like y'all mad. My homie, I'll call my homie on his birthday, talk to him for an hour, hang up, and then see on Instagram it's his birthday. I'm like, everybody knows he didn't even tell me, you know, and we ain't even tripping.
It don't be that big a deal. Yeah. But you know, I still take I don't take precaution, but I do a lot of self-reflection when I am like if I start to feel anxious when I get around too many women, like I try to like definitely reflect, figure out why I'm feeling anxious, what it is, and then I just gravitate toward who my energy pulls me towards. And I do my best to build real connections with people that I want to build real connections with when it comes to women. And if I don't like go out with you, get to know you, learn your background so you can understand how I operate, why I operate the way I operate, I probably like will keep you as like an acquaintance and you probably won't get that close.
So let me ask you this. Do you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
I'm an introvert in real life. I'm an extrovert Kierra Renee persona. Yeah.
You know, I feel like people who are, and I would say you are definitely a popular person, right? Whether you think so or not, because I always say this is not about how many know you, it's about who know you. You know, right people know you, right? So 6 degrees of separation, you know everybody damn near, right? Or they know of you. So I feel like most people like that are introverts. Do you feel like you, as an introvert, you force yourself to be social? Because we talked a
I
little bit off
do.
camera about your social anxiety,
I
right?
have social anxiety. Yes, I get anxiety when I be in, like, when I get into spaces
Because
where
you in big, huge. You work for like mainstream people. Like you work for
I
celebrities,
know, but that
huge
doesn't
names.
mean that when I'm in work mode, like, I'm good. But and that's why, okay, like, I could tell you, like, I was like, went on a date with this guy, right? And he didn't know me, so I don't know why he would pick this as the date. And he figured from social media that I'm like this big social butterfly.
Right.
But he didn't realize, like, in real life, I'm quiet.
Right.
And he literally was like, okay, we're going to go to a game night. And I was like, a game night?
Like with other people?
With other people that
who,
he, like,
who all coming?
yeah, like, no, right? And, like, I'm just like, a game night. He's like,
Right.
yeah, it's all my friends and it's going to be chill. It's going to be cool. I'm like, I'm not really trying to network or, like, do
Right.
none of
Right. You
that.
gotta
Like,
explain
yeah,
yourself,
like,
tell me what you do.
yo, we get there. The first thing when we walk in the door, it's hella people. And I'm like, oh, hell no. The first thing they do is, oh, we got some new people. Woo. Come to the mic and introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do. I was like, bro, I'm not going up there. And he was just like, why not? And I was just like, and I'm like, bruh, no. And they like passed the mic to me and I'm just like, hey, I'm Kierra. And they're like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I just live in LA.
You know,
and they're like, and he was like, everyone's like kind of looking at me like, and I'm just like, bruh, that's not what I came for. And I just went to the back corner. And to be honest with you, I left.
See,
I walked out on
when
it.
you're in a bunch of social places, like you yourself, right? You work in social environments.
Yeah.
So when you're in a social environment, again, it feels like work.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
so
easier.
I get that.
It's easier.
Same here, right? People will be like, oh, come to this networking. I'm like, I'm cool. Like I'm like just
I used to, I will tell you, like when I was like younger, you know, I would go to events and I would be like, I used to get paid to actually go network at events. Because I could be like, I could talk myself into like, we're about to go in here. We're about to get 20 contacts and we about to get out of here. And I would literally walk in. I would just like, hey, 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 hey. But then I would get that list and I would send it off and be like, give me my money. All right, I'm done. And then I would not have contacted one of those people back ever.
Well, once again, like I said, you know, I same sentiments, because when you work in a space that's so social all the time, and that's what you have to do for work. It's like, you know, LeBron James played basketball. It's not going. You ain't finna call him come do like a pickup game. You're like, bro, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not happening.
I'm good.
So interesting, right? Because once again, that's why we're doing this show, because people may think they know about you because of what they see, right?
Yeah.
And I could easily mistake you. Well, I know you a lot closer, right? So I know, like, man, she be by herself. You know what I mean? She be on her own. You move, you travel alone, like you really be on your own tip.
Yeah, and I don't mind
low key.
I don't mind being by myself too. Like, you know, I enjoy it. I dance around my house. I rollerblade around my house. I laugh and I watch TV by myself. And occasionally I will invite someone to come do it with me. You know, but it's like, it's peaceful. Like, you know, like what I do is high stress.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if you allow it to be. So once you're like in these spaces of production, you're working with so many different emotions, energies, people, deadlines. Like, you just want to be by yourself after. Like, all right, bro.
No, I understand, right? So that I'm gonna say this and move on. Sometimes I get home, and you know, obviously I'm speaking, I talk to people for a living, and I'm like, I had a lot of conversations today, so don't feel bad if I'm not like respond. I use a lot of words today, so let me just
let me chill.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go into you as a professional, because now we're kind of there now. Like I said, I couldn't title you if I wanted to. Like you said, producer, but even that doesn't really express who you are and what you do. And I know for a fact that who you are and what you do takes a conversation for them to really understand what it is you do. So let's start with your production bag. What does it look like when someone calls you and say, hey, I have an event, or I have and I need you to produce this? What does that usually look like?
It looked like, what's your budget? No.
Of course, that's the first question, right? Yep.
No, okay, so I mean, there's so many facets, right? Like, I mean, so I have now centered it to, I am an expert in experiential marketing.
Mhm.
So, experiential marketing through event production. So, I love to just create experiences for your brand, experiences for whatever. So, for the most part, people are calling me like, okay, we need to either we need to get this product out, or we're going to sell some items or whatever. Can you come up with an experience for people to interact with our brand in person through an event?
Mm.
So it's like that's like so I'll be like, okay, let me come up with a concept or like a way for us to curate this branded experience for people to be able to interact with your brand.
Would it be considered like a footprint? Is that what you create, or is it something larger than
uh
that?
like imagine. I was so blessed to get to work on that Cheez It project, and that went viral. That was
Mhm.
so awesome. And that was a great experience, like, for people to be able to interact in person with the Cheez It brand. Um, I really wouldn't know how to like define that part of
It's
it. It's
tough.
just, it's just, I just create, like, like I was producing pop ups for 2 years. I went on a 2-year pop up tour with a sneaker brand, and we created a different experience inside of every single store, every single city that we went to. That was fun. That was cool to like bring to life. That was a lot.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
um,
like I said, you have been busy,
yeah,
and over, and for people who are going to watch this and see this, you've been doing this for
a long time.
what, maybe a decade now, going on a
Yeah,
decade.
yeah, and it started out me just producing my own events and no one showing up, and me producing another one, and then trying to get them bigger, and then like, okay, let me see if I can put on a conference, like, and like, let me test it out. I'll do one day 8 hours, and let's see what that looks like. Like, okay, I could do that. All right, now let me start doing this for other people, like, and I'm gonna tell you one thing. I manifest everything, and everything I've ever wanted to do in my life, it has come to life. When I was producing the pop-ups for the Reeves Cool Kai brand, I was producing those pop-ups, and every city I would go to, I was like, yo, I want to produce like this same thing. I want to do this for Nike. I want to do this for Shein. I want to do this for like bigger brands, exactly what I'm doing. So every time I would produce another city, I would check it off and go, God, I want to do this for another brand. I want to do this for another bigger company. 2 years later, I'm getting contracts, Estee Lauder, Cheez It, BT. It's like, okay, I'm living that. All right, so now I need to manifest the new goal. All right, God, now I want to go global with this. Like, I want to produce events internationally for big brands. Like, so manifestation is really real when you speak things into existence.
Well, I can say that I've been able to watch you closely over the years, and we've been friends, and you deserve every
Oh,
part
thank
of
you.
that,
Yeah.
and probably more than you got right now, because I've seen you put the work. You talk about those events when nobody showed up, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about those moments,
Oh
right?
my god!
About
I
like,
look. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Like, people don't even know when I used to produce some of I had a series called Stylers Panel, right? And I remember
I remember that.
my
Yep.
friend
Mhm.
David used to tell me to stop producing Stylers Panel. Like, when I tell you, he used to be so upset with me every time I put it on, because what y'all didn't know was that I was homeless and I was broke.
Mhm.
Like, he knew I didn't have nowhere to sleep that night, and he would be like, "What is wrong with you? Like, you're putting all these events to teach people how to do business. You're literally making people rich. People are coming to your events and they're learning, and they are taking everything that you're teaching them, and they are thriving. And you are here." And I used to be like, you know what? But that's not why I'm putting on these events.
Mm.
I'm putting on these events to help people thrive. And if I ain't, eventually I'm gonna thrive. There's no way I can help this many people thrive and someone not come back and tell their story about how they came to one of my events, they met this person, that person, and because of me, they are where they are today. And guess what? Then more people are going to start coming to me like, if you can make that person be where they are today, I got to start listening to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, like, I remember I did this one event. It was in downtown LA, and I think I still owed the venue money, like, and but the lady was working with me. She let me put on the event. Um, Nobody showed up, right? And I'm just like, oh God, like, we just did all this. I was spending, if I was, the way I was making money was by getting the vendors. I would charge the vendors like
Mhm.
between 2 to 300, so that I could pay for the space, pay for the open bar, pay for whatever it was. So it was kind of like a break even thing. And I remember all the vendors were kind of just looking at me like, girl.
Right.
And I was looking at you like, catch me on the next one. But I remember I was so devastated, and everyone's breaking down and they don't even know. Like, I'm literally like trying to wait to be the last person, only because I didn't want people to see that I was going to walk away and I'm just going to start walking because I didn't have nowhere to go.
Right.
Like, and I was like, I remember I had like all the extra drinks and all the stuff because, of course, no one used it. And I remember I just called one of my friends in downtown, like, don't you live in downtown? Can I just like, and I would never tell my friends that I had nowhere to stay.
Right,
like,
right.
I would never. I would always just be like, can I just come over? And then I would just try to like keep talking until they were like, girl, we about to just go to sleep. And I'd be like, yes, perfect. Let's go to sleep.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure none of my friends even knew I was homeless either, because I was not telling them. I was just like trying to like figure it out. And then I would get up in the morning and be like, damn, now I got to finish paying this building.
Right. Because you're an entrepreneur you're a real entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, I got to finish paying this building. I don't know how I'm going to get this lady the rest of her money. And I remember I had to just walk back over like, listen, ma'am, I'm going to just be transparent with you. I don't even have $2 in my bank account. Like, listen, but if you give me 30 days, I will come up with the rest of your money. Don't worry about it. I'm going to come up with your money. I came up with her money. But, like, I was like, oh, if these people only. And yeah, I used to be stressed out.
No, see now that's a real story, right? Because you probably don't talk about that story often, or even probably, I don't know if you do reminisce on it often, but
no, I don't. Like, I mean, I like, because like I'm so like focused on the next, like I be focusing on solutions so much that I don't even like try to even go back there, because it's just like it was a part of like my progress, but at the end of the day, like I got to focus on solutions.
Yeah, I mean, because how am I going to get this done, right?
Yeah.
Or what am I going to do next? So after the event didn't work well, what did you think? Like, I'm gonna keep going?
Yeah, put on another event. Like, what else I'm gonna do? I gotta keep putting on events. Like, because my thing is this. I'm gonna tell you, like, I've been through a lot of like LA trauma, and I've always said entrepreneur has saved my life, because every time I was going through something crazy, I would put on an event, and then I wouldn't focus on it no more, and I would only focus on that event. And honestly, like, that would get me through it,
Yeah, sometimes you can bury the opportunity of entrepreneurship. You can bury yourself in your work, right?
Yeah,
and just like, I'm going to work.
Yeah,
whatever.
I gotta focus on this event. I can't focus on that bullshit.
So, was there ever a time where you felt like, I'm just about to just quit and go get a full-time job? Or
nah, because like, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I already know I can't work a full-time job. Like, like, not that I can't, but it's like I know what 9 to 5s do to me psychologically. It makes me depressed. So it's like I already know it's not gonna work for me. I've been fired from every single job.
What was the last job you had that you got fired from?
Where was I at? Oh, I got fired from Uber. I am literally banned from Lyft. Like, I can't do it. Like, if I open up my Lyft account right now, I am banned. Like, they won't.
How do you get banned?
Poor customer service, because
canceling rides on people.
Because like I would like not let people use my aux cord. Like, I would not have conversations. Like, I just wanted to get you from point A to point B, and people would want I guess I'm so interesting, and people wanted to talk to me. Men wanted to talk to me, and I didn't want to talk back to them, and they would give me like 1 star for it, or I wouldn't let someone use my aux cord. They fucking 1 star. Like, because I'm like, yo, listen, you're not about to mess up my vibe. If I gotta drive you, I'm listening to my Erykah Badu, and we about to vibe out. And Lyft said, well, you're out.
Now that's hilarious though, that you got fired from
an independent contractor.
Yeah, you got. I don't know if that's even a job. You just do it. Like, it's just.
You just do it. No, listen, that's how you know it's a job. Because at the end of the day, if they can lock you out of the system and say you're done, it's not independent contract.
So like, how'd that make you feel? Like, okay, I can't even drive Lyft or Uber. Like, I gotta.
It just, I mean, that was hilarious to me. But honestly, I already knew I don't have good customer service skills. It's not a part of my lifestyle. Like I told you, I have no filter. I already knew that was going to be a thing.
That's freaking hilarious. I'm telling you right now. So not only that, recently you became an author, right?
Yeah, I brought my book, but I left it in the car because I was like, nah, Keith's gonna have my book up in here.
No, I didn't. I've had a day.
I'm looking around and I'm like,
I've had a day.
He doesn't have it.
I don't. But that was I was so proud of you. Let me say
Thank
that, man,
you.
because I didn't see it coming. I don't know if I
Oh,
didn't see it
really?
coming.
Oh.
I mean, but it makes so much sense.
Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about that. Like, what made you say, I'm going to write this book and actually write it,
Yeah.
publish it?
Yeah.
I mean, just, yeah, I want to talk about that process.
It was a like 2.5 year process.
Wow.
The book I actually wrote in a week. You know, I wrote the book.
I'm not surprised at all. Right. Yeah, I'm not.
I actually, okay, yeah, I wrote the book while I was temping. So I didn't get fired. Oh, wait, did I? No, I think I just walked out on them because I started crying because I was like, oh, yeah, I called David on my lunch break crying because I was like, they said I have to come back after 30 minutes. Like, but what if I need to eat longer? I can't do it. Yeah, it was bad. But okay, so I've been putting on all these events and stuff, right? And I'm just like, like I feel like I want to have something that is whole, where it's like you can take this piece of work that I'm going to give to you and you can share this with other people. You can learn more about yourself through me and me showing and teaching you the way. And now I have a real brand, like this is something that can like connect the events to me. And now I have a product that is useful, that can help change people's lives potentially, and I was like, I'm just gonna write this book. And I started writing it. I would write every day while I was temping at this property management company. It was like they had me come in the week for, sorry, I should have left my phone over there. But they had me come in like the week for rent. So I was just there to make sure people paid their rent and collect the rent and handle like all the rent shit for them. And so I was just writing. And I'm like writing, writing, writing. And I went and I Googled like how to structure the chapters and all that stuff. So I just like started making subtitles, sub chapters, and I was just writing, like, and about a week later, I had pretty much all of it. And then I never put it out. I like sent it to one of my friends and they like read it and they were like, "Oh shit, you wrote this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were just like, and I was just like, I can't put this out. I don't even got money in my bank. Like, who am I to put out a book to teach people how to do business? And I'm not even like a real bit, like in my head, I was not a real business person, but in the real world, I was actually like producing, you know?
That's a real ass moment,
Yeah.
right? Because it's the whole imposter syndrome
Yeah.
thing that sits in. Like, am I good enough to?
Yeah. Like, who's going to buy it? Like, I was literally like on some like, people don't even come to my events. Like, why would they buy my book? And then, I was actually going to call it Stylers Panel because I wanted it to be the book to my event.
Right.
So at first it was going to be called the Stylers Panel, helping first generation entrepreneurs with like navigate business in the fashion world. And that's what it was originally going to be. And I just let it sit. Honestly, I didn't even think about it. I just kept going on with my life, And then fast forward, that was 2019.
So you wrote this book years ago.
2019, yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Okay. So what made you say, I'm ready to put this book out now?
I was just talking to one of my friends, and he actually was the person who convinced me to write the book in 2019. And then he was like, "Yeah, where's that book?" And I was just like, "Oh, it's in my like hard drive somewhere." And then he's like, "What are you waiting for?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "You know what? I'm her. Like, I'm gonna put this book out."
Now let me ask you this. Now, you wrote this in 2019 because this is.
I revamped it.
Okay, so you revamped it.
So I reopened
it
up. I went through some of the chapters. I updated things. I made things more current. I added 2 new chapters. And that took me about like 2 weeks. I sat through, reread. There, like I erased some things out of it, added some new stuff. I made it current, so I didn't like just like.
Well, you learned a lot more. It's 3 years later, right?
Yeah, so I added new stuff into there. And then yeah, and then I like put a mood board together for how I wanted the cover to look. I went and found all the covers that inspired me, did my research on the jewelry, how they dress in these covers for like #1 selling books. Like I realized like they don't really wear a lot of jewelry, how they do their hair, like how they dress. So I just kind of studied that for a second. And then I put like this mood board together, got a team, hired a stylist, hired a makeup artist, and showed them my mood board. Like, look, this is what we're trying to do. I had like 4 covers. Like, these are #1 selling covers. This is the aesthetic of a #1 selling cover. Hired someone to design my cover overseas, showed them like, look, this is what award-winning covers look like. We got to be like this. This is the type of fonts they use. This is what we got to do. So this is what we doing.
Man, let me tell you something about yourself, dog. You are always prepared. Like you are always ready to, like, you prepare yourself, right? I wouldn't even think to study the fonts that people use.
Yeah, because there's a formula to all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're gonna do it, go study the formula first. And like,
Incredible.
there's a reason why these covers do what they do. And it's like, if you want your cover to compare and to like be able to stand out amongst covers in the bookstores, go look and see what those covers look like. Because if your cover doesn't compare and doesn't stand out or stand up to those, how are you going to get picked up by a store? If you're,
right.
if that's the same thing with like branding and like beauty products and stuff. Like, I always tell people, like, go to the store, put your beauty product on the counter. Does it compare? And if it doesn't, you need to go back.
Right.
Like,
and that's I'm really kind of tripping out because you wrote this 2019, right? 2022, a big difference, right? You've 3 years of experience, 3 years of more success. Did you feel like your success made you feel more confident?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I just got more confident in me, like, like in who I am as a human being, like the value that I bring to the earth. Like, I think that.
So you may tell me it wasn't the contracts and none of that stuff that you had?
Nah.
It had nothing to do with you now releasing them.
Nah. I think it was just a part of the evolution. Like, like my site was cute. And I also I felt like I had the budget to really do it properly. And I was like, imagine if I would have tried to put this book out in 2019.
Right, were you
it
struggling?
Would not have been this book.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have been that cover. It wouldn't have been that rollout. It wasn't supposed to come out in 2019. It was supposed to get written in 2019, but it was supposed to come out in 2022.
Wow.
Like,
How is you releasing this book impact your life and business?
I think it's opening new doors. Like, it's opening new doors for me mentally. Like, to know that, like, I was so afraid. Like, you don't understand. Like, I was so afraid to put this book out that I didn't even want to do a book signing. I did not want to do that. Like, I was so nervous. Like, I had to get convinced to host that book signing. And when I seen almost 150 people pulled up to it, I was like, for me? Okay. All right, God. Like, it's not, okay, you're telling me go, and I'm gonna keep going. Like, it's like, that was, I think putting that book out, just, it gave me a boost of energy. Like, this is for you. Like,
it made you more credible, even though you were already credible.
Yeah.
But to some people, that's a sign of credibility. A lot of people, it's a sign of credibility.
Yeah, putting out a book. Yeah. And I love writing anyway. Like, journalist by heart, storyteller by passion. That's what I do every day with these events. I'm telling stories. So it's like, it was perfect. Like, and it's like, I have something out here in the world that is going to live beyond me.
Right.
Like, like, it lives past me. Even no matter what, you're always going to be able to go and purchase a book that I wrote. You will always have my words on this earth. You will always have my wisdom on this earth. Someone will always be able to quote a line from that book on this earth. My kids, my nieces, my nephews. Like, my niece thinks I'm like a celebrity.
Well, I mean, you are. People walk into, bookstores and they see your face on the cover.
Yeah.
They don't have to know. They don't know you exactly, but now they've seen you before.
Yeah.
It goes back to people know you. You don't know them.
Yeah. Shout out to Culver City Mall, and shout out to Malik Bookstores, because it's definitely in the windowsill, y'all.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. Right next to Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I've seen it.
And Michelle Obama.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Michelle Obama. I said Oprah. My bad. I remember Michelle Obama.
No, Oprah's book is right there too.
Oh, it's all there. So okay, I'm right there.
Yeah, that was strategic.
Yeah, right on. I mean, and now that you've written one, do you plan on writing more?
Yeah. There's another one that's gonna come out. It's gonna be cute. It's gonna be a part of the series. It's gonna make sense when it comes out. It's gonna be like, okay, it's basically like gonna be like step 2. Like, like, okay, step 1, you did this one. All right, now we're step 2. But step 2 can't come out yet. I still need to I need to experience more. Because what I want step 2 to be, I need to experience a little bit more.
Yeah. I was with my mom at Malik bookstore, right? And I was showing her your book, and I don't know why I did that because she's been on my neck for the
Oh,
longest
for
about
you to
writing.
write
Oh
one?
my
Yeah.
god, I ain't never gonna let her hear this episode.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Like, I feel like we all need to put books out. Like,
mhm.
especially you. Like, you definitely got to put a book out. Like, what you've done, what you've grown from the basement. And I honestly, that should be the title, From the Basement. Like, like, but what you've grown, like, people need to hear about, like, people just need to understand the processes, the strategy behind the good news. They need to know, because I know you. So, I know you from, like, back when y'all was doing what was that shit
Right.
called? A Vima.
Right. Network marketing, absolutely. Yep.
But you was killing it on campus. Like you was that. Can I say nigga?
Yeah, you can say
Nigga
yeah.
on campus. Like, you built a whole solid team. Like, yes, y'all was sneaky inviting us to these goddamn Vima things
Yeah,
and
it's all strategy. Yeah.
pretending like it was a party, and we're like, oh god, got us.
Whatever works.
Yeah. But yeah, so I definitely encourage you to write your book, and I will help
Appreciate
you.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, I would say that seeing you do it, definitely gave me like,
Yeah.
you know what? Because I know you, I know your story, I know your journey, and I see how hard you work. And I'm like, man, you somebody that I consider myself in parallel with, you know what I mean, as far as working hard and after it and been working for as long as I have. Right? Ain't many
Yeah.
people you could say has been working as long as hard as you have on the on their journey. So
Yeah.
I appreciate what you've been doing because you are inspiring me.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know, and you have and you continue to. I know as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of ups and downs, and I don't care what nobody say. No matter how much money in your bank account or or lack thereof, you got moments of where you're like, I think I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me about that last time when you was like, listen, man, I don't know about this. This is just this. Maybe I just need to just step away, or I don't know. Have you had that moment recently?
Um, I mean, of course, I think there was like a time where I think I'm in a transitional season regardless. Like, right now I am like in a God transition of God just telling me more, accept nothing but more. So I think, like, I was literally, and even to these days, sometimes I be fumbling my own bags by just doing too much. And I've depleted the whole bank account. And I'm like, yo, rent is
On the way.
due.
Right.
And I had an offer, and it was just not worth it, you know? And even though the bread would have cleared my rent for like 3 months, it just wasn't worth it. God was saying no more. And I remember I turned it down, and I started just crying, like, oh my gosh, what is
What am I
wrong
doing?
with
Right.
me? Like, did I just turn down the money to pay my bills? But you know what? It was a real breakthrough for me. Like, oh wow, like, you are crazy, girl. But I think that was like, not that I felt like I was at a low point, because I'm like, yo, I don't even have money to eat today. I don't have money to like put gas in my car to go nowhere today or the rest of the week. I don't know how I'm going to make some money, but I'm going to figure it out. I got noodles in the cabinet on reserve just in case, always.
Right. Oh, you better
You
have
feel
them.
me?
Stop
Like, I got
playing.
noodles on reserve. I have water filter, so I'm good. I got water. Girl, you gonna just have to figure this out. And I just started thinking, like, Lord, you know what? I live in California. They can't kick me out this apartment.
Right.
Like, this is a renters friendly
I'll
city.
I'll be late.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to be late, Lord, and they gonna have to like figure it out later. But I don't know, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit to like to look up and be in that situation when you think that you're like doing everything right, and it's like, but I'm such a great producer. How am I even sitting here?
Right.
With,
like you said, I'm hurt. Like,
yeah,
how
am I even sitting here with $2 in my bank account?
Right.
Like, what am I? But it makes me self-reflect. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are
Yeah.
you not focusing on? Like, but then I was like, nah, I'm just focusing on life. I'm gonna let you know one thing. I'm gonna live life to the fullest. You're not promised tomorrow. I don't care if I got $2 in my bank account. If I get invited to go somewhere on a flight somewhere,
you're going.
I'm going.
I'm like that. I'm like that with food. Like, that's my only kryptonite.
I'm going.
Like, I gotta eat. So I'm gonna eat well.
I'm gonna eat well too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I don't care if I'm spending my last $20 on the salmon.
It's happening.
I'm eating the salmon, because at the end of the day, your health is priority. And if you out here struggling, figure out how to get a free salmon. Just
Listen,
figure it
man.
out.
Listen,
Like,
I'm gonna tell you right now, you better try to figure out that BT. You know what I'm saying? If
what's
it's
a
low,
BT?
the EBT. You know
Oh,
what I'm
that too. Listen, that too. Like,
figure it out. You know what I'm
listen, because
saying?
they will give you some free bread.
They
Like,
sure will.
they will give you some, so they will help you out. Like,
Yeah.
no problem. The government love helping people. Like,
Well, I do appreciate sitting here with like a true entrepreneur. I said this at a recent event. You know, I said, hey, I said, you know, I'm a real entrepreneur. That means
yeah,
that I survive off of what I do.
yeah.
There's nobody that comes in and pay me. You know, I mean, now I'm a professor at LA Mission, but
Whoop, whoop.
even that came in from me doing this.
Yeah.
If I never had this, if they didn't see this,
Yeah.
it would never happen. I mean, I'm the only one in California that's teaching this. In the
Okay.
entire state of California, I'm the only guy, right?
Yeah.
So even that has become from my entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I get your, like, I'm an entrepreneur.
This
Like,
is what I
and
am.
sometimes, like, I think even full time, and I'm gonna tell you this, full time entrepreneur
There it
is not
is.
the same as an entrepreneur who has a job too.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with people who have a
Nope.
9 to 5.
I
Because at the end of
recommend
the
it.
day, I recommend
I
it. And if
recommend
I
it.
had the stability and the mental stability, I would go get a corporate 6-7 figure 9 to 5 gig and continue doing what I'm doing. But I personally don't have the capacity to follow people's rules. So I have to be an entrepreneur.
You know, and that's, and for me, it's like I say this all the time. I haven't found a job that would pay me as much as I feel like I can make by myself.
True. And
if I did,
yeah.
I may trade it in. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. Listen, when I seen that these CEOs at Netflix are making $23 million a year,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm out of here.
I'll trade it in.
Yeah,
like,
I'm done with this.
I'm good.
Yeah.
My thing is this, right? If you can't offer me a lifestyle that I already offer myself, and if you
That's
can,
it right there.
with the freedom that I have
Yep.
to wake up when I feel, if
Yep.
I feel, fly here because I want to, and work on the plane and come back and still be on track, like, then I don't want it. Like, you know, I feel like we were not created on this earth to be robots. We were not created on this earth to work all day, play for an hour. You know, like, we were put on this earth to live out God's purpose that he gave us, and to live it truthfully, honestly, to have fun, to actually enjoy living, you know. And I think, like, I got kind of scared.
No, you saw that in the It's all good. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, like, I don't think, and that's why I'm an entrepreneur. And let me backtrack to this whole full-time entrepreneur thing. It is a different level of faith that you encompass when you are a full-time entrepreneur. Like, I am a full-time entrepreneur. If I do not create a project for myself, create a way to make some bread, or get contracted through something I created, I do not eat.
Yep.
Like, you know, and it's like, I don't have anything to fall back on. And, you know, I'm not saying that, like, one is better than the other, or one is worse than the other. It's just that it's just two different things.
It is.
And I think sometimes people be like, oh, it's like, but are you a full-time entrepreneur? Because that is a different stress.
Different, you know, like you said, you have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
You know, and two things that people get confused, right? When people say entrepreneur, you work for yourself. I say, no, I work for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and entrepreneur don't mean rich. On top of that, it don't mean that you got money like that. It's a struggle still, right?
Yeah, until you create a system, and you hire a team.
Yep.
And you let that team run. But then that still means that now you're working for all those people.
Now you're working for
like,
I was about to say that.
Like, now you're working for all those people, because now it's your job to keep those people fed. Which means that if you don't get up every day and keep creating and keep connecting and keep building, your staff doesn't eat. Like, you know?
I heard Howard Stern say this. He was supposed to retire like 3 times already, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to retire. He's like, but I can't because I care about y'all so much. He's like, what you gonna do? Like, you know, what you gonna, my producer, what you gonna do if I retire? Like, what's gonna happen to y'all? And I care about y'all so much, you know?
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, also, I know the difficulties come with, we're gonna get a little personal now, right? The difficulties come with building relationships, dating, right? How has that been, especially as a female entrepreneur? It gotta probably be 20 times harder than the male because men are kind of have that expectation, right? Already to
Yeah.
be out working, hustling away,
Yeah.
you know. But as a woman,
Yeah.
how what kind of challenges does that pose because you are such an ambitious entrepreneur?
Um, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, it gets tricky, right?
I know it does. Look, you don't know how to
It
answer
gets
it.
tricky. Like it gets tricky because for one, I'm gonna tell you, like I mean, I'm a female, and sometimes there are men who get a little intimidated and they don't want you being out here in these streets. Like, you know,
Mhm.
like actually, someone just told me yesterday, like, Kierra, you know why you still single? And I was like, why? And they were like, because your social media page is screaming you're in the streets. And I was like, what?
I can kind of see that. I
And
can see
it
where
was
they're
like,
coming
and he was
from.
like, you need to start posting some cooking videos or something. Like, let us know, like
That you be at the house.
yeah. And I was like, bruh, I be at the house every day. And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but your Instagram, I don't know. And I was just like, I guess, but I think it just gets tricky because you have to date a certain kind of man. Like, you know,
Mhm.
like, and because we have to date a certain mindseted type of guy who's gonna be okay with you hustling, with you
I've
getting
been there
like, you know,
sometimes.
get
Yeah.
into it. Like it's like it just gets different. But for me, I'm not gonna I can't even pretend like I don't attract these kind of men anyway. I only put out an aura and an energy to attract that energy. Now I've attracted some lazy ones, you know, but they're not around no more. But I mean, listen, to God be the glory.
You
And find me a man.
you don't know how to answer this question.
I don't know how to answer it because I don't know what to say. Like it's hard. Like at the end of the day, it's hard. Like dudes just want to smash. Point blank
Right,
period.
of
They be
course.
wanting to smash. It's
But no,
hard.
I think there's men that's genuinely attracted to you, who you are,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your success. But it's I think you said that you're right. They're intimidated, right? So
yeah.
then it becomes
But it's like I don't even want to say intimidated. It's just like they don't know how to. They don't have the capacity to deal with it. You
mhm.
know, because that's not what they want to deal with. Like, you know, they don't want like I know successful men, like even my homies who will be like, I don't want my girl with a lot of social media followers. I don't want my girl at the pool parties. I don't That's not where I want her. Even though they're there doing all that stuff and they're all in the mix. But they're like, nah, but I just don't want my girl doing all that. Like I want my girl to
Mhm.
be at the crib. Like she honestly, she could have a job or something. Like I don't even want her in the mix. And it's like, I
A lot of
guess.
dudes don't want their girl busy.
Yeah, they
They
don't.
don't.
Because at the end of the day, like if you're busy when I come home, who's gonna be there for me?
Right.
You know, but I think there's just a balance. Like me personally, I I I have to have a guy who's like busy. Like not like that. Not that you have to be busy, but I do like being by myself sometimes. So I would love for you to go on a trip and go
Right.
work somewhere for a little bit and let me focus.
See, now
Because
dudes gonna hear this and they gonna be confused. Now I'm gonna tell you right now because I feel like I've seen this many times. Like women think they want a man that's busy,
yeah, but
but
okay.
not for real
Okay,
though.
so let me stop lying. I don't really want a man that's busy. I want a situation where we could go together. Because I ain't gonna lie, I love traveling myself.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you be out
I would
here.
love to like listen, men who are traveling and working for a living, holla at me because I'm traveling and working, and I think that's gonna be the best thing for me because I gotta be out here and go. And I dated someone who I traveled a lot, and I did always feel like whenever I came back, that nigga didn't never go nowhere. So
Right, right.
he was always like,
He gonna see this, by the way.
I don't care.
So I mean, even with that, right? Because
Yeah,
I asked, a good friend of mine she's an entrepreneur as well, and I
yeah,
asked her about that, right? About the difficulties of that as a woman, because most men want a situation where women are a lot more
stable.
stable,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
can they're more what's the word I'm looking for? Predictable, right? I
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
know
yeah,
what's going to happen.
yeah, yeah.
I know where they're going to be. But your lifestyle is totally unpredictable. You get a contract next week, or
I
you
know.
may stay longer than expected, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I just found out I'm gonna be gone on Monday, and then I'll be back for a couple days, and I'm gonna be gone for a week. Like,
So, do you feel like that has challenged you as far as maybe, like, do you want to start a family? Let me ask that. Do you want
oh,
to
I
start a family?
absolutely want to start a family. Like, listen, I'm gonna get a whole husband soon. I've been manifesting him. We're gonna have our babies. We're gonna travel the world together. Like, you feel me?
Okay, all right, I'm with you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know it's definitely like a hindrance because I move around a lot, but at the same time, I know there's a dude out there for me who's gonna be able to. We're gonna be able to navigate that space together.
Okay, so here we go. Right.
Yeah.
Here goes the interesting part.
Yeah.
For you, I don't get a lot of women on my show, so I'm always very interested. I always get majority men. So lately, I've been very, very what I want to say, proud to have women and be able to ask this question for the men because men want to know, right? Like, what are for a woman of your stature, right? You are a high quality woman. You busy. You got to catch me. You know what I mean? Catch me if you can. But what are some things, like we talk about the right dude, right? What are some things that he has to have? Like, I asked this question before, like, is income?
No, I'm not worried about that. He has to have a relationship with God.
Okay.
Like, that is priority for me.
All right.
Like, you feel me? He needs to be emotionally stable.
Okay. I've heard that quite a few times.
Yeah. He needs to know how to communicate.
That one's always in there as well.
He needs to love his mother, whether they have a strained relationship or not. Mm-hmm. That's very important. And he just needs to be self-motivated. Like, he needs to be ambitious and like self-driven. Like, I'm focused on those type of things because.
Okay, hold on now. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. You know what I'm saying? We want a little specific. So, income. You said that does not matter.
I can't focus on like income numbers wise. Like, like I can't be like, oh, he needs to make over 6 figures. No, he just needs to be progressive, because at the end of the day, like, you could not be there today, but that don't mean you're not gonna be there in 2 years. That don't mean you're not gonna be there in 3 years. Mm-hmm. Like, like I'm not gonna put it now. For me personally,
he has to make more than you. Let's ask.
I can't necessarily say he needs to make more than me, but we need to have the same mentality when it comes to financial stability.
Well, okay. What if he's comfortable working his?
Then he ain't for me. Like, I'm gonna tell you, he has to have a financial progressive mentality. Like,
if he's making $150,000 a year and I'm good. I don't want to. I'm comfortable here.
Then he's not for me.
Huh?
Yeah, like, he's just not for me, because what I'm trying to do with my life and what I'm trying to give back to the world. Mm-hmm. We gotta have we're gonna have to elevate, because there's no way that the best way to make change in the world is through wealth and power. So if you are gonna be sitting next to me, you gotta understand, like, the way that my life is running, I want to make change in the world. And my man is gonna have to understand that the way that we're going to do that is by building generational wealth. And if you don't got that mindset, you can't sit next to me.
So, okay. So now this is interesting. I think it's very interesting, right? And this goes back to kind of how men and women.
And no, he cannot work at Burger King as a cashier.
Yes, he can, right? Because he's going to work his way up to manager. You know what I'm saying? He'll work his way up to manager.
Okay, look, I've always said this. If I dated a guy who worked a 9 to 5, he has to be in the C-suite. Or on his way.
I love this. I knew it was going to change. See, this is why I got to keep poking the bear, because it always starts this way when I ask this question. It starts off, no, then I start getting like, well, okay, well, yeah, it does a little bit. And then he'd be like, okay, let's just keep it real. Like, okay, like this, it's okay. Like,
C-suite on your way.
Okay, right. So he got to be an executive.
He has to.
So okay,
we're not gonna be able to relate to each other.
So it does matter then.
But I already said, like, it matters.
You said it didn't.
It's like, I just don't want to judge anybody on their current position.
Okay,
that's why
I feel that.
It's like their mind.
Whoa. Actually, no. You just said you don't want to judge them on their current position if they're not in a C-suite.
If they're, I said C-suite are on their way.
Even if they're on, you don't know where they at now.
I did say that. I said are on their way to the C-suite.
Next question: does height matter?
Okay, look. I'm gonna tell you. Look.
Come on.
I am a sweet 5'7" on my ID.
And that's pretty tall for a woman.
For me, I attract 6'4" and up typically. My ex was 6'4". The last person I just talked to was 6'6".
That's not what you attract. That's just what you choose.
That's what
I
like. Comes. Okay, but I will say, I have talked to a guy who was 5'9", and it wasn't that bad. So I will say for me
Yeah,
personally,
I'm just
height.
expecting 5. I'm 5'9". I'm just expecting 5'9" around here. I'm fine
I'm
now.
sorry, you got
But
the short.
if he's 5'6",
No,
he's 5'6", and he's in the C-suite though.
I don't know. He got it. It just depends. Listen, it depends on the connection.
Mm.
I look. I can't even say that I would say no because I ain't gonna lie. I have not even have been was in love with a dude who was 5'2". That is my husband, and like like that, like
You
husband
talking about
heart.
Bobby Valentino?
No. This is a real person that I know,
okay.
like out here, like, and he knows too. Like I always tell, like, you my husband. We gonna be married one day, and he is 5'2".
But you playing with him though. See, that's the thing.
I'm
You're
not
not
playing with
serious.
him.
So what? Why y'all not together then?
Because we just don't. It's just not.
Look,
We
you playing with this. See, I said
we
you're
just
not serious.
friends.
All right, that's cold right there.
No. Listen, I'm not playing with him. Like that is, but he in his thing. He doing his thing.
If he was 6'2", y'all be together. Easy call.
Nah. We would be together if he was 5'2".
Oh my gosh, we go. Okay, all right.
I don't mind. Like but I feel like he's the only person that could be that short.
Okay. Style. This the way he dressed. Does that matter?
No, I'm so like, but you see, I am a different person to be asking this type of question too. I've dated all types of men, right? I've dated it.
Well, I'm saying where you are now because I mean,
style, I don't care. Like
I'm not proud of when I was 18. Like,
I don't
my
mind,
choice
like,
was different.
Like, I don't care how you dress. Like, just be you. Like, like honestly, like that's not a big deal for me because I don't even think I have that much style. So just dress, like
Okay, last one because I saw this question. I thought it was so interesting. Right, I saw Cam Newton ask it, so I want to ask you.
Okay, go.
Like, could he have anything that's considered fake, whether like whether it be like fake hair or whether it be like fake jewelry?
I think if he has high quality Chinese gold plated jewelry, I don't mind because I'm not even really like I don't really care about like material things like that. But if he had like fake braids in his hair,
yeah, like the dudes can get like the hair now, right? We can get it. Why not?
Oh, you mean like that balayage thing?
You can just get and then get the get the whole lineup rolling.
No, because to me that means that you're not really secure. I mean, okay, I can't even say that because you're like, oh, well, girls get.
You already know where it's going, so come on now.
It's a no for me personally.
Okay, it's just straight
I just
up.
don't want to have that stuff bleeding on my like pillow sheets.
You know how much makeup we gotta deal with. I had an eyelash on the back of my phone. Anyways,
listen, but that's a part of the process.
Okay.
But me personally, it's a dub. Like,
okay,
nah, I'm okay.
I understand. We want to know what the non-negotiables are.
Unless
so that's
you
why
go
I'm
pay
asking.
for like the surgery for like the fake
the implants.
Yeah, then I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Okay. About teeth, fake teeth.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever. As long as they look nice.
Everybody cool with the fake teeth now, right?
Yeah, as long as they look nice.
Okay, well,
now if you're getting like fake abs, because dudes do be going to get surgery
what's wrong with that?
Stuff. It just got to look nice.
Yeah,
it gotta look nice.
What's wrong with that? Because women getting all kind of tightening and
yeah, but I would prefer you to just be natural. Like I'm really about like being just
right. Okay, I understand that. Last question I have for you, right? And I'm gonna let you go because I've been holding you hostage this long. For people out there who are going to see this, hear this, and look at you and say, "This is somebody who I'm inspired by. This is somebody who I want to channel after." Right? It's somebody right now probably stuck in a situation, stuck in a job, and they see you and like, "How can I? Damn! Like, how is she doing it?" What's some advice that you would give to them?
I would say tap into your spirituality, like whatever that's going to be for you, because you're going to need it. Like my faith my faith in God, my faith in that he going to deliver for me is so high that even when I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent, I literally just say, I know you got me, God. And I don't even stress. Like my faith is so high. You need to have so much faith in yourself, in your ability to produce, in your ability to problem solve, and in your ability to focus on the solution, and knowing that like God's gonna have your back. Like that's like the biggest advice that I could give you. And if you don't believe in God, that's cool. Whatever you believe in, whoever he is for you, she is for you, the rocks, the moons, the sage, whatever it is, pour your faith into it and allow that faith to guide you.
Okay. All right. If you don't mind telling people where they can find you, where they can find your book and the events you got coming up or that you may have in the future.
Yeah. So you guys can find me on all social media platforms at It's Kierra Renee. I kept it very simple. KEIRENEE. Be sure to tune into my podcast. The Knowledge is Key podcast airs every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, my website, all those things. And my book, Get Familiar with Failure, you can get it on Amazon. And soon I'm going to be putting up the what is that thing called, the ebook version of it. So the ebook version is ready. I just don't know when I feel like putting it out.
She busy, y'all. She got stuff going on.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it out very soon. So just tap in with all that, and I do have some events coming up. A very special one that I'm working on that is for people who like to travel like me. So just know I have a traveling event that I'm working on right now, and when it is all the way solidified, I will drop those details. But we are gonna travel this year, you guys, because I've been wanting to like travel with people for a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. I appreciate you so much for coming and spending time with me, sharing your story, sharing your journey, sharing your ideals. I think once again, people get to know a little bit more about you than what they see on social media.
Yeah.
If they haven't learned anything today, I think you made it very clear that you're not the social butterfly people think you are. You know, you a homebody.
Invite me out.
Right.
Still invite me out. I promise I'll
come. But once again, I appreciate your presence. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
you are a light, you are a gem, and I'm happy to be a friend and acquaintance with you.
Yay, go see San Matador.
Yes, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, now you know, you have been just introduced or reintroduced to Kierra Renee.